the top. No, I had to re-record this shit. So we at the top. Yeah, I'm wearing like a little white shirt. I'm a little faded out. It is what it is, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Just shit I be wearing in my time. But anyways, what's up? What's happening? It's Big K.A. We back in the stand. K too good to sleep with a cut up on the tongue. We to talk about the Andrew Schulz, Charlamagne the God, Joe Budden little situation. Now we gonna get to the Breakfast Club debacle. We gonna get to that, okay? But anyways, we gotta talk about this shit real quick. Now. I do gotta say this now, as we know, again, this is just an update video to the other video I did about Joe Budden's feelings about Andrew Schulz and the certain jokes he makes. It all goes back to the little thing when he said whatever. Well, first off, basically, Andrew Schulz had Shits and Gigs, podcast duo from London, the UK, on his channel, and basically I personally watched them. I enjoyed their podcast. Shout out Shits and Gigs. But anyways, back to the story. They were talking about like a black girlfriend glowing up their partner. Andrew Schulz was making some jokes, yada yada yada. There was some backlash there. Motherfuckers had their thoughts about it, and he can't say certain shit like that. People was outraged. We discussed it. People talked about it. I thought it was whatever. Kendrick Lamar drops his album. He makes some reference to that. Don't let like a white comic talk about black women, which was him. Andrew Schulz had his rebuttal and said whatever he said. I think, and we're gonna get into it. I don't know if I said in the last video or this video, but anyways, we're gonna get into it. It's all off the dome because I have to re-record, so I already know what it is. So I'm not gonna bore you with me going through all that shit again. But basically, Kendrick made some reference to slide on a person that does that. He took that as an offense. He made some joke about them being in prison, and Kendrick is small, he'll beat him up or whatever, he'll violate him, whatever the fuck he said. I'm not here to repeat exactly what he said, but it was some nasty shit. Anyways, people was outraged, motherfuckers wasn't fucking with it, yada yada yada, the whole shebang. So I don't know how. I know he's been dealing with backlash all this time ever since, but I don't know how this came back up in so much prominence. But basically, I guess on a Patreon episode of the Joe Budden podcast, Joe Budden had his thoughts about it. Ice and Imani were trying to defend it because, again, they do have a point of when is it too far, because I said this in the prior video. All these comedians make certain jokes like this, you know, when it's like Dave Chappelle going after the LGBT community and they had an issue and he said, I'm not stopping, I'm a comedian, which at some point we do have to let motherfuckers be funny. They're gonna play off stereotypes and race and genders and all this other shit. They're gonna play off of it. So it's like, at some point, not to say everybody shouldn't be sensitive, because again, everybody has their own trials and tribulations and people have went through a lot of shit, but you do gotta understand when a motherfucker is being malicious or a motherfucker is just making a joke. I know, and then it becomes a bigger picture because any person that's being malicious could just say they were joking or whatever the fuck. But even still, with that being said, like, this motherfucker is a comic. He's paid to go and do stand-ups. Like, it's not exactly the same. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like certain people are doing too much compared to like a bigoted person on the street just saying some inappropriate and illogical, whatever the fuck that word is, some nonsense to people just to be hurtful and spiteful. I feel like there's a difference to certain things. Anyways, anywho, so we get back to now. Basically, Charlamagne and Andrew Schulz went on the Brilliant Idiots podcast and they had some stuff to say about Joe, but they're basically making some, make some jokes about the podcast, basically insinuating like, covering these current events, like doing podcasts for 3-4 hours, who could do that, like 7 mics and all this other shit, which is shit we've heard before. Now, me personally, I enjoy the long podcasts, you know what I'm saying? In my day, I do. But I will say a couple of these, like, I guess, like, normal podcasts, the Wednesday and the Saturday podcast, if you will, they feel a little boring. They do. There's not a lot to talk about. They ain't gonna really go into certain topics and stuff like that. So, which I do understand. It does get a little bit boring. But yeah, sometimes when it's like an hour, like 2 hours, I'm like, wow, this shit is dead. So, you know what I'm saying? So, I do understand for a certain extent. But also, again, I don't know how much times they record Brilliant Idiots or even how much Schulz does his Flagrant 2 podcast with his other co-hosts. Or is it Flagrant? I don't fucking know. But anyways, with that being said, right? Y'all have some long ass podcasts sometimes. Y'all do y'all thing. So it is what it is. Yes, there's this, like, I guess, twice a week show, if you will, and they do a lot of long podcasts and shoot a long amount of time. So I guess they're trying to say their shit is becoming still and diluted, but it is what it is. And I also said in the last video that, listen, a lot of this, because Joe was like, hey, listen, there's a difference between being a comedian and Andrew Schulz being a racist. Joe's understanding of the situation. But even with that being said, what was I going to say? Sorry. Even with that being said, like, niggas is picking and choosing, because we could literally do that to all the comedians. I'm not gonna say I'm on Andrew Schultz's side because he was saying some dumb shit. I think he had a conversation with Shannon Sharp when he was alluding to, if someone says slide to me, I view that as violence. So and you're gonna come after the people I care for, so I'm not gonna take that like hey, big dog, like, no disrespect. Again, you're probably taller than Kendrick or whatever have you. Is you really you acting up with all this bravado or whatever have you? I'm pretty sure if Kendrick was in the room with you all that bass and all that tone in your voice would diminish. Like, you not doing all that. So like with all this like overhyping and overacting and all this shit, you trying to sell yourself, sell your comedy special and all that. All right, big dog, congratulations, but you ain't doing that. Regardless if you are taller than Kendrick in stature, I'm pretty sure that nigga still would beat your ass. If we really having a conversation, I'm not just on Kendrick's side because he black. I'm not trying to have that narrative, but yeah, I hate when motherfuckers be chatting, but like if that person actually came, y'all would pipe down a little bit. Y'all ain't on that type of shit. But it is what it is. Now again, like I said, Joe and Andrew have not been friends or whatever, so this is on this as well. Also, Joe and Charlamagne don't have the best relationship, so I don't. It's one of these things I'm just like, what the fuck is going on, love? It's just perplexing and confusing, and I'm just like, why should we give a fuck, bro? This shit happened like what? So long ago. In the beginning of the year, I guess in the beginning of the year, or even late last year with the shits and gigs situation. Like, why is this still a debateful conversation? He said what he said. Niggas didn't like that shit. We clowning him. He knows the joke didn't go over well. Niggas been probably in his mentions and all this other shit. So it's like one of those, let's just leave it alone. I don't know why Joe wanted to speak on it. It is what it is. Maybe because of the Club Shay Shay interview. I don't know. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It just is what it is. Hopefully, one day these niggas can have peace. It is what it is. But Joe and Andrew Shaw, it goes way back. So I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, whatever. I can't blame Ice or Imani for defending it because I do feel like they have a point. I feel like sometimes Joe does too much. I'm not gonna lie. As much as I do fuck with Joe and I think he's entertaining and he's performative for the camera and shit like that. But like, yeah, I do feel like at times he does a little bit too much. But anyways, what do y'all think? Comments down below, links in the description. I know I gave you like an abridged, but yeah, what do y'all think? Comments down below, links in the description. Besides that, it's your friendly neighborhood K.A. signing off for today. The Black TJ that while doing this thing. My name Rainbow's not Quasimodo. Hit like, subscribe, be trying to live in more air. Man, I'm gone. Shalom, zoom, peace, y'all, guys. Aye.